Hi, Annie and Luli. I'm gonna share my screen. Give me a moment. Okay, this is your lesson 13, earthquakes and volcanoes. For the vocabulary of today, you have the word faulting. Faulting means falla, like this picture. It is a result of rock layers breaking or cracking at a particular place and then sliding like this along the fracture. Then we have the word explosion, which you know in Spanish explosión, that it's a loud bursting noise caused by a blowing up of something. Then you have the word lava, which you also know in Spanish lava, melted rock that flows from a volcano and is made of materials which came from below the Earth's crust, like this picture. And then we're gonna learn a little bit about folding and faulting today, okay? Surface forces can cause many changes in the earth, but also there are additional forces making changes from underneath the ground, okay? Deep inside the earth, there is movement. Some things are moving. Sometimes that movement inside the earth causes great and sudden changes, but sometimes those changes are slowly, okay? Folding, it's the result of the movement of the inner earth. Some parts of the layered crust push against each other and bend and twist the rock layers like this, okay? So you have all of your layers. Let me show you here. You have all of your layers of rocks and they, because of the movement, they push each other and they fold. Instead of being straight lines, they are folded like this. And then you have faulting. Faulting, like I explained, the vocabulary like this picture, it's when rocks break. There's a line, like a big crack. And some people think that they result from pushing or pulling or falling. And magma can cause faults too. As magma moves in the mantle, pressure could crack the crust and push layers up. Some faults reach deep into the earth and stretch long distances across the surface. There is the famous ones like San Andres in California that stretches about 800 miles. The Earth's crust is always moving in motion. In some places, the crust is sinking, going down, while in other places, the crust is rising, going up. And scientific instruments can measure that motion. Let me show you another picture of faulting that explains what's going on. You see, this is a fault, how the layers of rock are cracked. Okay, and this is important for we're going to review right now. Okay, earthquakes. Earthquakes, terremotos, are a powerful force. The whole surface shakes when there's an earthquake. You hear a rumbling sound like this, ooh, and you have cracks forming on the ground. The land on each side of the crack moves into different directions, even up and down or along the sides. An earthquake can last seconds or a few minutes, but you can have replicas, meaning smaller versions of the same earthquake for several weeks. And earthquakes cause great damage. They destroy buildings, they destroy houses. And large earthquakes, really large ones, can cause other problems too, like landslides. Landslides, let me show you. It's like this, un huaico o un derrumbe, okay? Or you can have tidal waves, a tsunami, like this picture here. See, really big waves, which can destroy cities on the coast, for example. Scientists don't agree about the cause of earthquakes. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. Let me fix it. Okay. They learn about them through the use of sensitive instruments. These instruments have shown that the shock waves, the ripples that cause an earthquake, reach through the mantle and reach the core of the earth, the nucleus, the center. Earthquakes occur along fault lines, and some of the largest earthquakes have been where deep faults are located, like faults what we were talking about here. And then we have volcanoes. Volcanoes have magma inside of them, but how do they form? Okay, magma usually stays below the Earth's crust under great pressure. Sometimes this very hot material can slowly flow into cracks of the crust. The hot magma can break through layers of rock, or it can squeeze between layers. The magma may cool off in the crust before it reaches the surface, and that's how igneous rocks are made, remember, like granite. Upper rocks of rock may be pushed upward, forming ridges of igneous rock. And then you can have volcanic activity. Occurs when a passage forms from the mantle to the Earth's surface. So magma goes from the mantle up to the surface, to the crust. Lava flows out onto the surface, okay? Remember that magma, it's what's inside the volcano, inside of the mantle, but lava is when it goes out. The activity can result in a raging volcano. As magma bursts through the crust, rocks dissolve, water forms steam. Part of the magma becomes gases. Lava, stream, rocks, and gases pour out over with great rumbling sound. And lava glows with heat. But with time, lava cools, gets cooler and cooler. And lava flows out over the cooler lava. Like lava flows on top of other lava that's been cooling. And a cone shape starts to form because it's like this is the Earth and lava went through here, okay? And then it started cooling, but it made like a little hill. And then it keeps flowing and the hill keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, forming a cone shape, and that's how volcanoes are formed. Lava doesn't always flow easily. When there's a lot of pressure in a volcano and it can flow, it bursts, it makes an explosion, and lava blasts out all over the surface. Okay, girls, that would be it. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, if you have questions, let me know.